On January 9th, 2007, Steve Jobs introduced something that would change the world forever. He announced a device that, in his words, would
to reinvent the phone.
18 years later, it's almost impossible to find someone without a phone of their own. But when did our devices go from a harmless means to entertain ourselves and communicate with others to a full-blown addiction? As a generation, teenagers and young kids face unique problems as the first generations to grow up with a screen put in front of them from day one. At some point, having a phone as a kid became so normalized that parents feel pressured to give their child one for fear that they may be left out. And teens feel pressured to scroll through social media for hours just to be in the know when it comes to trends or the next viral 15-second audio that everyone is referencing. But no matter how you slice it, it all comes down to one thing: societal pressure. This societal pressure quickly leads to social sin, which can be defined as sinful structures resulting from personal sin and leading to social conditions and institutions that do not embody God's law of love. To put it simply, the societal expectation that being normal means having access to social media and regularly consuming enough content to know what a given person is referencing or what products you should be buying is what fuels this never-ending cycle. And this obsession with screens doesn't come out of nowhere. Think back to being a little kid. We all watched TV. There was Sesame Street, Barney, Curious George, Bubble Guppies, Clifford the Big Red Dog, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, Little Einsteins, Martha Speaks, and so many more. But therein lies a huge difference. While the act of watching TV has not changed, the programs that we watch have. Take into consideration one of the most successful kids shows of all time. Its YouTube channel is the second most viewed channel in the world with a whopping 201.98 billion views.
Cocomelon.
Cocomelon. Cocomelon.
Cocomelon.
Cocomelon. Kids all around the world seem to be obsessed with the show, despite the fact that, at first glance, there's nothing special about it. However, the excessively bright colors, constant moving and panning, and quick jump cuts can have extremely negative effects on kids. And the issue is essentially that the show is too stimulating for children. It releases dopamine, or the happy chemical in the brain, and having too much dopamine get released all at once can lead to an addiction. Take a look at a quick clip from the show. I'll count how many seconds pass before the scene changes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So you can see how stuff like that can be too much stimulation for babies and even toddlers. Their brains aren't made to process that much information so quickly, and shows like Cocomelon overexcite them and can cause an addiction, which can have serious effects on their cognitive development. And the same goes for young kids and teens. Their prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain that is involved in self-control and decision-making, isn't fully developed until the age of 25. If full-grown adults find it hard to control their screen usage, how can we expect teens and kids to? In his book, The Anxious Generation, How the Great Rewiring of Childhood is Causing an Epidemic of Mental Illness, Jonathan Haidt dives into the issues that comes with phones and social media. He writes, "We've had a play-based childhood for literally 200 million years because we're mammals and all mammals play. That's how we wired up our brains. But somewhere in the 1990s, it stopped, and stopped dead by 2010. It faded away and was replaced, very suddenly, by the phone-based childhood between 2010 and 2015. If you went through puberty on a smartphone with a front-facing camera and Instagram and social media, and 5 hours a day of that social media, 9 hours a day of screen time, you are at a much, much higher risk of being anxious and depressed. And you're probably Gen Z. That's the big picture of what I think has happened." And science backs his ideas. The average teen spends around 7.5 hours on their screens every day, or 43% of their time awake, and this number is only rising. So that's 43% of our time wasted scrolling and consuming media, most of which we probably won't even remember by the time we actually put the phone down. This falls under the category of venial sin, an action that weakens our relationship with God. Being on the phone takes away valuable time that we could be using for self-betterment and building our relationship with God. It affects our relationships with friends and family, and drags social media even further into the cycle, meaning that it gets weaved so deeply into our ideas of fitting in that the two become virtually synonymous. Whenever you go on the phone, your behavior usually follows the same pattern. First, we decide to go on our phones, often choosing to scroll through social media. While on social media, we leave ourselves vulnerable to content that could sway us into committing one of the 7 deadly sins. Pride. You may post on social media to show off or flaunt what you have. It's the easiest way to brag without bragging, and comparison is almost unavoidable while on the platform. Greed. Influencers often show themselves living lavish lifestyles or overdoing it in order to get the attention of viewers. Having an excessive amount of material possessions can lead to a false idea of what is important in life. This kind of quote-unquote happiness is often referred to as leitus, happiness in a thing. Envy. Seeing things online can lead to jealousy, which leads to wrath when compared to your own life. Lust. The internet makes it easy to access pornographic content. In fact, Common Sense Media did a report on teens' experiences with pornography and found that 73% of teens aged 13 to 17 have watched porn online, and more than 54% have seen such content by the age of 13. Although some people may not have seen pornography before, it's near impossible to scroll on TikTok or Instagram or even just watch TV without coming across thirst traps, lip syncs to songs with inappropriate or sexual lyrics, or suggestive content. Much of this has become normalized, and most of us have been unknowingly desensitized to such media. Gluttony. Social media has also led to the normalization of people eating obscene amounts of food, most of which is actually wasted off camera. Not only does this promote gluttony, but it is also unhealthy and can induce serious health problems. And lastly, sloth. We've all experienced having 5 minutes melt into an hour when watching TV or on our devices. That's 1 whole hour of time wasted, time that could have been spent put towards doing something productive. While watching, seeing, or doing these things doesn't necessarily mean that you will sin, you're actively putting yourself in a situation where you're more likely to fall prey to one of these bad habits or vices, which can easily lead to sin. After spending too much time on our devices, we're led to a crossroad. Either we listen to our conscience and get off the phone, ergo ending that personal cycle, or we ignore our conscience, which in itself is a sin, and continue to waste our time. This can be viewed as idolatry, or putting someone or something before God. This further normalizes spending lots of time on our phones, making other people feel that they need to do the same, and causing them to go on their own phones and leading them back to step 1 of this cycle. Our teen years are also crucial for our social and emotional development, and being glued to a device constantly means that many of us don't develop the necessary social skills or emotional intelligence. Think about it. When was the last time you had a conversation with someone about something other than a shared past experience or gossiping about someone else? Social media is made to reel you in. Each app fights for your time and attention, and even phones themselves are designed to look like slot machines in order to stimulate the mesolimbic system, or reward center in our brains. Look at shows that are supposed to take place today with modern-day teenagers. We make fun of them because they're all weird or inaccurate. It could be argued that this is because we as a generation are hard to represent in media due to our tendencies to live and socialize using our screens. And when contrasted with shows that take place in earlier years, it's easy to see that the primary difference is the presence or absence of phones and other devices. As for testimonies, screen addicts can be found everywhere. We're all somewhat addicted to screens. They've become such an integral part of our lives that it's hard to imagine a life without them. The good news is that there's help out there. Internet and Technology Addicts Anonymous is a group of people who help and support each other in breaking the cycle and putting a stop to screen addiction. Beyond that, there are guides on how to stop your screen addiction, and therapy or counseling is available everywhere. And on the days where it all feels like too much, where the pressure to pull out your phone in order to fit in feels suffocating, remember the words of the Apostle Paul. Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of our God's mercy,
to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.